It's Friday, and it's always Friday with me, Stephen Fry, your SMB guy. ICYMI, or in case you missed it, SMB stands for Small and Medium Sized Business. For the last 20 years, I've been a consultant for SMBs, a voice and a sounding board for business leaders, advocating on their behalf, their employees as well. Can't forget about them. I believe very strongly, folks, in sharing stories, providing perspective, and creating connection. That's what we're all about. So every single Friday, you could find me here on talkradio.nyc doing just that, lending what's left of my mind and my voice to this radio show. Our special guest is Gary Pyatigorsky, CEO of Netembark LLC, right here in sunny Morganville, New Jersey. Gary, CEO, dynamic digital marketing firm based in New Jersey with a robust foundation established in 2009. Gary brings over 25 years of unparalleled experience in this marketing realm. Beyond the professional endeavors, Gary is a proud part owner of the NPSL minor league soccer team, Christos FC, reflecting his passion for sports and community engagement. A multifaceted individual, Gary's not only a trailblazer in the digital marketing sphere, but also an accomplished martial artist, so don't mess with him. He holds a first-degree black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu bestowed upon him by Dante Rivera. Under Gary's leadership, Netembark specializes in delivering tailored digital marketing solutions, including Google Ads, programmatic ads, social media marketing, and pretty much everything else you could think of under the digital marketing space presence. He caters to the needs of small, medium, large, mega-size enterprises with a commitment to providing that personalized boutique marketing experience. That's what a lot of folks are after anyway. He's the man. Again, might have a bigger mouth and might be a bigger wise ass than me. Now, I'll let you guys be the judge. Whether you are just getting started or you're in business for a long time, trust me when I tell you, you want Gary and Netembark as a partner. We're going to discuss my favorite questions around movies, TV, and music. And if you guys are watching out there in TV land, you'll see that Gary does like to use some movie jokes and TV show jokes in some of his marketing as well. But taking time out from his busy client schedule, as well as talking smack at our local favorite spot, the Bear and Birch. Shout out to Johnny Tsunami and my Bear and Birch friends. Gary P., welcome to Always Friday, brother. Thanks for taking the time.
Stevie, it's a pleasure. I couldn't have said better myself. It was a great intro. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait to see you at Bear and Birch for some good schvitz and a good time.
Yeah, 1 o'clock today, if I'm not mistaken. But I know you changed up your schedule recently.
Well, listen, no, I have more free time now, so I can enjoy it. I can, this is the perfect weather to schwitz, sweat, eat, enjoy a good time, and network with sound mind people.
That's little l'chaim as well, but little l'chaim, brother. Everybody talks about Gary V. Great dude. I'm excited to have the one, possibly the only Gary P. hanging with me today. No one can pronounce your last name. That's okay. I'm trying not to butcher it too badly. I feel like right from day one, I might have actually got it spot on, but let's talk to the audience a little bit about you. I want you to talk to everyone about how you got where you are today. There's a lot of folks who claim to play in your space. I've interviewed some. I've tripped across them. They email me every day. I love what you do and how you do it. You got to share with people the founder's journey. Give it to us.
Sure. So I started my company in 2009. By the way, my name is very easy to pronounce. I don't know why people have problems. You just got to split my name in two parts. It's Pyatigorsky.
Pyatigorsky.
Very, very simple name.
No matter what, when I say it, by the way, the accent comes out somehow.
Yes, it's very simple. It's very simple. So back to my journey. I started marketing, I would say 2004, working for Yellow Book, Yellow Pages, selling a digital product. I was recruited by Reach Local after that. And I didn't like the way the direction I was going in my career. So I said, I can do the same thing. I can do it better. I have the technology. I have the skills. We parted ways, and in 2009, Netembark was born. The company I started was in Brooklyn, New York. The beautiful thing about this is I started my company. I had $1,500 in my bank account. I moved in with my girlfriend at that time. Well, my wife, not girlfriend at that time. And I said, honey, let's do this. And right now, I grew my company to over 350 active clients. We have national and international outreach. And again, we do anything digital. So in terms of going from point A, point B, point C, it's a journey with a lot of fun and adventures, interesting clients, And one thing that I pride myself is that I'm not really a marketing company. I'm more of a consulting company because
Yes.
the beautiful thing is when people come to me and ask me about certain things, what's going on in the technology world, what's going on cross-cultural world, uh, I'm there to help them and assist them with that. So that's pretty much simple signups.
I couldn't agree more with the idea of being a consultant, which means something a little different to everybody these days, because everybody's a consultant now. So, but being a consultant, it lends itself to the idea of learning about your people and having them learn about you and learning together where everything's going to connect in the middle. And that's what's important here. Like, I can't, I'm sure you do too, even as a market company, but the amount of cold campaigns that I get with people who have no idea who I am, what I do, what I'm looking for, and why is insane on a daily basis. And just like, and I know that there's a reason they're doing it. Somebody's latching on somewhere, but it's really hard for me to imagine who.
Exactly. Exactly. See, my favorite thing is this. It might be a completely off topic. So I get calls from my clients pretty much 24/7, which my wife hates it. But when I started my company, I put myself in the position to such extent where I used to get a call at 11 o'clock at night. It was my Russian window cleaning guy. He goes, "Hey, Gary, do you know what's the sales tax in New Jersey for products is?" And of course, I Google it right away. I'm like, here you go. So I position myself in the center of their business. So this way, if anything comes through, they have to come to me, and I'm there to help them and guide them in the right direction. Right direction, that's the key. Because if you ride in
Yeah.
the wrong direction, then you have a problem.
Yeah, and it's one of my favorite things I cite here is the thoughts of Alice in Wonderland. If you don't know where you're going, any road will do. So it's look, I like a happy accident once in a while, and there's nothing cooler than tripping across revenue and opportunity. But it's a lot more fun knowing that the success. It's a lot more of a security type of feeling, and it just gives some solace in knowing that your success is kind of planned and you can expect certain things out of it, right? I like that you guys, and I know we're going to get into this when we dive a little deeper into the method behind the madness, but the idea that certain things are data driven, again, what gets measured gets mastered, right? If you can take a look at certain data points and really learn from them, great. But life isn't all data points, right? Even if you talk about financial services and things like that, yeah, there's certain data points that you could really look at. But then you're going to have at some point some type of qualitative overlay. And that really kind of comes from getting to know your people and seeing where you guys connect in the middle, not just at the local sauna club that we hang out at all the time.
Exactly.
So let's get back to you and the custom tailored digital marketing solutions. The method behind the madness, Gary, Netembark. The idea with this segment is to talk about exactly what do you do, how do you do it, and how do you go to market for it. I know you love to network just like I do. I see you with some of my networking cohorts that are, whether they're local or around the country, you're hooked into some of the same crazy circles that I am. But lay a little bit of the method behind the madness on us. I know this industry has tons of it right now.
Yeah. So for me, is I have to identify who I want to work with, who are my clientele. Yeah, we have a nice, huge array of different industries and verticals that we work with, but I know certain verticals that I know inside and out. So it's a lot easier for me to overcome any type of adversary that the client presents me with. So uh, for me, I love doctors. I know the medical field inside and out. A lot of companies that similar to me hate dealing with doctors. For me, I enjoy it. I know how they work. I know how the doctor's mind work. The doctor wants patients in the door, and if I can show him that the system we can provide for him can drive those patients through, he's gonna be my client for life because they hate changing their current strategy because once they see the patients coming in, they're mine. So identify who your ideal client is. That's number one. See how you can relate to those individuals. Number two, um, don't go crazy all around. Again, for me, when I try to cold call somebody, I already know businesses that's around that area, businesses that they're competing against because everything's online. You can check it out, and I use that to my advantage. So when I call an office, I tell them we work with this and this doctor, we work with this and this area. We can bring him this many patients. Are you interested? Just give me 5 minutes of your time. Just sit with me so I can show you exactly what we can bring to the table and how we can improve and optimize your current campaign or get you more business out of there. So number one, again, just like you said, just make sure that the suit you're wearing is the comfortable suit that fits you and you feel comfortable talking about that specific vertical. Number three, not three, number two, have a team behind you that's going to support all your efforts. One of the biggest things that I see in this industry, somebody works so hard to get in front of the client. They pitch them, and now the client has to wait 2 weeks to get a proposal. So you're literally shooting yourself in the foot. So you have to basically make sure that you have a team around you that will support all the efforts that you're doing.
That's more of shooting yourself in the face almost, but yes, absolutely.
In the head, you're done. All the energy and effort that you did, they could close the client. The fact you're going to wait a week or 2 weeks to get back to them, that's it. You're done. You're out of their mind. That's it. You lost them. So providing the service and the energy to the individual speaks a lot. And of course, the follow-up. The follow-up is crucial. Honestly, when I close a client, this is what I tell them right away, my last words. Thank you so much for signing this contract. We're going to start immediately. The only thing I ask of you is this. If you're happy with the results, I expect referrals from you. And this is the best way to generate those warm leads after you did all that work.
Yeah, of course.
And just by asking them to tell you exactly like, oh, here you go. You know what? Let me open my phone. Here, I'm going to connect you to this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy right away. It's a great way to expand and branch out. From one single visit, you have 3 or 4 or 5 leads, warm leads available just from there. So
not only that, not only do I 100% agree with you, the stuff that you do nowadays, Gary, like, I have securities and insurance licensing and background, right? Like when you're acting as a trusted advisor, that way, or even just in the work that I do with small, medium-sized businesses with Engage PEO and with Fusion Employer Services, if you're acting as a trusted advisor, a very difficult but sometimes necessary question to ask people you're about to work with is, Mr. Client, can you take my advice even though you might disagree with it?
I agree to 100%. So clients must hate me the first time they meet me. I am an ass, and I don't hide it. So when
that's for sure.
Yes. So when I first meet with my clients and I tell them this is going to hurt, and I take their whole marketing strategy, their website, and I destroy it. And I tell them exactly, this is your weak point. This is your weak point. This is what your weak point. This is as, this is as. And I tell them straight to the face, you have to fix it. And even before we even start, like, I don't want your money until you fix these things. Because for me, I'm not going to take the client's money or take him as a client if the campaign's going to fail. If the campaign's going to fail, that means I failed my client.
Yep, so, 100%.
Yeah, so I would rather rip them apart the first meeting or 2 meetings and tell them exactly what needs to be fixed as a free advice, as a free consultation. Some clients hate it and they don't come back to me. Some of them love them because it's going to help them grow their business. So I agree with 100%.
It's really hard to imagine the people that's the ones that can't take constructive criticism are the ones that be like, yeah, you know what? I don't like you. I don't need that. That's like the best kind of direction you can get in the kind of work that you do.
It's an ego thing. It's an ego thing. It's
100%. 100%.
So I'm not going to mention names, but it was a giant charter bus company in Manhattan that has 2 deckers, but I'm not going to mention names. They gave me when I just started my business, they gave me a challenge. They wanted to increase their conversion rate from 1.9% by 1 percentage point to 3%. I was able to get a conversion rate of 3.5%. And I met with the owner, and they had a team of about 20 people, and I just ripped them a new one. I said, if you want to increase it more, I'll be more than happy to tell you, but you have to do these following steps. And because I actually told them what needs to be done, said, thank you so much for doing a great job, but we're going to go a different direction. Because you take the criticism of what needs to be done in order to increase the conversions.
It's very common these days, even in job interviews, if people are looking to go work for somebody, where they'll be like, oh, here's what we need you to tackle. And they like ask for a complex presentation and plan. And, here's the roadmap. And they go, oh, thanks a lot for the work. And then they take it and they run off with it and they go and hire somebody else. Even in my travels, I've seen that happen so many times where I've said to people, just if you get into that situation, just hand them a consulting agreement, hand them a contract right when they ask you for that.
Exactly.
So, we're coming up on a commercial break here shortly, Gary, and the madness is typically my favorite part of the show to talk about. And I know that this industry has lots of it, but I appreciate you as somebody who's a digital marketing presence, your posts, your blogs, your content on your website. I love it when somebody's got some comprehensive stuff out there. It makes my job infinitely easier doing this. But your 5 simple digital marketing tips I found to be kind of very easy to follow and simple. Like, I always say things like, nothing worth doing in this life is easy. If it was, everyone would do it. but a lot of things are much simpler than people make them out to be. You agree?
100%. And I'll give you an example. So I meet with a lot of clients and they say, Gary, here's my money. Do your marketing. I'm like, okay, what is the goal of our marketing? What do we want to achieve? It's like, I want to get more clients. But besides that, if we're doing social media, you're going to get a lot more branding. You're going to get a lot more exposure. You're going to get a lot more engagement. What do we want to do with that, with those individuals that engage with your post? Do you just want to send them to your website or remarket those individuals, sell them other products? So it's essential. It's essential when we go into this as a partnership with my clients, we established what is the main goal, secondary goal, and go from there.
And you said something very important there that I say all the time, and some people might just gloss over it: partnership. A lot of times, business owners, and you said it before, the ego side of things, if you start calling it a partnership, they'll be like, what do I need a partner for? I don't like partners. It's just me, Yeah, I know. I mean, arguably, you're just like that too. But it is a partnership because the folks that look at someone like you as a vendor of services, it's almost like setting themselves up for failure right from the beginning.
Correct.
And that's looking, it's almost like looking at you through the same lens that people would look at the cold marketing campaign people through. It's like, every single day, it's like, would you like to see a list of XYZ people? It's like, I have lists upon lists upon lists of XYZ people. What I need is what you talked about, the right team of people alongside of me and behind me, which I have now more than ever before. And I'm still like so overwhelmingly busy, especially with other things I take on, like doing a radio show on a weekly basis, where I need people to start reaching out on things for my behalf, because just same thing happens to me. It's like by the time I circle back to certain folks, it might be 2 weeks later. Guess what? A lot of times it's too late. You got to have good response time, good engagement.
Correct. Correct.
Gary is the man with this. There's a lot more method behind the madness, but Gary, this is the madness part of the show. So we are going to talk about the artistic observational parts of what you do, the stories you have from the field. Again, no subject to taboo, anything goes. Like we had mentioned, if you don't want to compromise particular clients being boneheads, totally understand that. Although in this space, there's lots of boneheads, but it's all good. You can come up with different names, different scenarios, etc. Like I'd mentioned in the last segment, you got some really fun posts and studies and a lot of cartoons and pictures. I'm a visually stimulated guy. That's why I like to screw around with the green screen all the time. But a lot of the stuff that I was seeing out there is really, really great stuff for people to engage with. And this was one of my favorites, talking about social media users saying what they want in their content, right? And the number one thing is they want it to be funny. Shocking, isn't it? All of us are always laughing our asses off at all the different social media crap that we see. And, I talk about in the very beginning of the show, Gary, people first, then good process, before you start worrying about products. You know how many people I know in the work that I've done over the years that just show up and throw up product knowledge? Guess what, people? Informative is number 4. So, I don't know. That really got me going on the world of madness. So, you want something to be funny. Sense of humor, like a little bit of laughter is tacit approval from your audience. Like, that's like a sign of people giving themselves over and opening up a little bit more. No shock that they want things to be funny. But, you want to have a good knowledge base. You want to know what you're doing, but you got to be likable. Comes more with the funny side of things. You got to be trustworthy, which is, comes with time. Like you gotta be able to prove yourself over and over again, which, you've been in business. This is the 15th year. Damn, big doings, baby.
Yeah. I can't believe I'm over 15 years old, but yeah.
Me either. And anybody else who meets you definitely would say the same thing.
Exactly. But here's the funny part about this. So we all know that bad news sells. And the reason
unfortunately.
Yeah, the reason why bad news sells is we feel horrible, we feel anxiety, we feel that we're not in control. So we need to basically fill that hole in, and we do it by shopping. So, but if you want to get engagement, good engagement, funny post. So exactly. So we have to have a nice equilibrium, a nice midpoint of having sales information, happy information, sad information. And that's why if you look at my profile, you'll see how the engagement is going from marketing, business, funny information. So it's all about having the right mix, the right strategy in place.
And it's not an accident that bad news sells either, Gary, as you have seen yourself in traditional mainstream media outlets. Like you're sitting there just watching CNBC, like for those of us that deal with finance related endeavors, if you sit and watch CNBC or Fox Business News all day long, it'll be like breaking news, this is in the sky is falling, and nothing's happening. It's nothing.
It's an addiction. It's a dopamine drip. So basically,
Absolutely.
every time we see the bright colors, anxiety, our panic level goes up. We get engaged. We stick to the TV. So and for the news companies, the more engagement there is, the more advertising dollars they can get in. So it's a never-ending cycle.
Yeah. And a vicious one at that sometimes for the wrong reasons. But, again, getting back to this, funny, what makes people laugh, that's another thing where everybody's got a little bit of a different sense of humor too, right? Just like everybody's got a different founder's journey in the businesses that they start.
Yes.
So, what makes one person laugh might not make the other person laugh. All the reason more why a marketing strategy needs to be custom tailored for the business so that you're reaching the right people for the right reasons who can buy from you.
Yes, it's very important to have a good HR as well, because some of the posts that I post right now in this environment are being flagged a lot by my HR, thank God. So otherwise, uh, before the 2016, 2015 year, you can post whatever you want, but now you got to be very careful, and not everybody has the same sense of humor as you do. So you got to be very careful with that.
That's for damn sure, or else this world would be probably a little uncontrollable.
Exactly.
So give us some of the madness, bro. Like there's so many topics we can go on these days. I'll argue all day long, and I have on this show, that everybody says they want lead generation. I talked about that with you a little while ago, but what they're really looking for is lead engagement. It's like not only the company I work for called Engage, like engagement is such an important thing. If you have something that's funny, the engagement is better rather than buying something out of fear, right? A lot of times that's never the right reason to buy something. It leads to wrong decisions.
So I'm going to engage into this topic right now, and by bringing AI. So just like you said, AI, right now everything's AI. AI videos, AI photos, AI everything. Like, we can have this conversation, it could be AI. It's not real. But the point about AI, it's a great system, but it's also a stupid system. And by I mean stupid system is it's trying to optimize and trying to drive user towards engagement. It doesn't understand whether the engagement is good engagement or bad engagement. So
Right.
We work with a lot of different AI software companies for our marketing, for our clients. And we're very careful when we set up goals to, like you said, you have a whole list of cold calling leads, and you put in the AI system, it can do automated calls, automated emails, automated messages. But if you don't put the right rules in effect, it's going to be a total show. I'm not gonna say what show, but it could be a PG-13 podcast.
I'd say more on the long lines of a horror movie, probably.
Yeah, exactly. A horror show. There you go. Thank you. Yeah. So the beautiful thing is when we set up campaigns for our clients, Google, Facebook, or other companies, they're giving you all these tools, and they basically want you to automate everything. Say, here's your topic, here's your product, here's your ideal customer base. Just plug it in and stay back, and we'll do the rest for you. So we don't do that. We do a combination of things. When we set up a campaign like Performance Max or AI social campaigns, we really, really, really have to see who's the audience, because there's so much crap that they push in. Again, they don't understand the type of engagement you're looking for. So that's the madness. The madness is there's so many tools available for you right now to find those right leads for you, to find the right audience, but it doesn't mean it's going to follow what you're thinking. So you have to put a lot of fail safes. You have to have like a roadmap where you develop, this is my ideal client, this is the age, this is the interest. This is not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for this geographical area. So most of our time is brainstorming with our clients. We have these calls to see exactly, look at this audience engagement. Look at this audience engagement. Is the AI doing the right job? Is the AI doing the wrong job? And then
Right.
if we have to oversee and step in and make the changes and even make a manual campaign based on that data, this is basically what it's entitled to. This is my job as a consultant where it comes in, not a marketing agency, because a marketing agency just here, go, leave it and forget it. We dive in, we dissect, and we improve based on the information that's out there. So that's the crucial thing.
Yeah, and again, being able to use some of the data too. You can't make completely data-driven decisions with something like this, but use it to your advantage wherever you can.
Question: do you remember Cambridge Analytica?
Yeah, sure.
So Cambridge Analytica was one of the biggest companies that helped our 45th president get elected. And prior to that, the reason why they were able to do it, the level of targeting of audiences was insane. I could
Hmm.
literally, for my car dealership clients, I could find a person who had lease was expiring in 3 months, who was driving a specific car with a specific mileage, and if they're looking for a used or a new car. After the Cambridge Analytica lawsuit, Facebook, Google, all of these companies, what they did was they took all that data and they hid it from the advertiser. So they put it like a basically, instead of you pinpointing the right audience targeting options, they made it into a giant soup where they have everything in there. They know the data, but you don't. So this way you can't get sued by targeting that micro audience level. So that's why it's becoming more and more difficult to put all the negative audience signals in there to get that ideal client that you're looking for.
So somebody who does as much networking as you do, Gary, and me as well, maybe you can identify with this too. How much does it drive you crazy? Like if you go to ask a prospective client about their ideal client profile, and not only have they, you could tell they've barely thought about it, but they'll be like, yeah, like for a car dealer as an example, right? I don't know, somebody, everybody, anybody who's looking to buy a car.
I got worse. I got a worse scenario. I have a local dentist, great dentist, huge practice. And I tell him, where do you drive most of your leads from? My office is in New Jersey, but I have clients coming all the way from Hawaii. I'm like, you don't understand the question. I know that you're gonna have clients coming from Hawaii, but looking at it, immediate targeting, immediate campaign, where do you drive most of your clients from? And you have to make them think, I want this type client with this type of a service, probably within 5 mile radius, probably the income level, maybe a homeowner. So you're actually making them think who they actually need, and they're changing the entire marketing strategy based on your analysis.
Yeah, I mean that's like it almost sounds like an egotistical thing too. It's like I'm so good, I attracted somebody from Hawaii, like which that's great. But did it come from leveraging social media? Is that how they found you?
Exactly. And then again, you also got to do a deep dive. So like, okay, so again, I'll use the dealership for this excuse me, as an example. Thank you. Russian accent. Can't
First
get it.
time using these lips, no problem.
I'm trying to speak with my mouth open. That's the but what does the dealership specialize in primarily? Is it new cars? Is it used cars? Is it service? Is it tires? Do we have promotions? Do we have incentives? What are you doing with the existing? So it's crucial. When I see a client, I usually give them like a 4 or 5 page, like a questionnaire, where we literally break down the entire operation of their business. And we actually sit and we go through their call recordings as well with their potential client calls to see how the front desk opens and answers the phone. Because my biggest like peeve is this: we do all the work, we drive crazy amount of traffic, we send you insane amount of leads. The client is ready to close, and the follow-up is not there. Either they don't pick up the phone, or the person picks up the phone doesn't understand what's going on. They don't
Yep.
know their information, and they lose the business. And they go, Gary, what's going on? I'm getting no business. And I tell them, come here, let's listen to this phone call. What happened here? So I feel great that I'm able to help my clients grow their business through eliminating these errors. But again, I have to deal with it like a old nonstop call saying, oh, it's slow. What's going on? So I enjoy that.
It's a lot of it is a reality check, too, in a lot of ways. Like some like what you just described for me as a sales strategy and business development specialist for over 20 years, a source of business report is kind of important, right? Just so you see where your business comes from. Not to say that this is going to perpetuate forever into the future, because that's what everybody likes to do. It's like when you're a financial professional, the first disclosure you have to make people sign is past performance is not indicative of future results. However, it doesn't mean you can't learn something from it. Like you should take something from it.
Exactly. And
But
yeah, and with COVID hitting, a lot of business had to pivot, they had to
yeah,
restructure everything. So everything they did before that worked had to be redone. So it was a great, I say COVID was a great equalizer,
yeah, sure.
basically where those companies that were not supposed to be in business are not in business, and those that have the mindset to evolve and grow are doing really well right now.
In general, and I 100% agree with you, it is a big mindset discussion. There's two ways to look at anything, especially when you're talking about a global macro type of event like the pandemic. You can look at it as an obstacle that needs to be overcome and dealt with, or you can look at it as an opportunity to differentiate yourself. It's as simple as that.
Exactly.
Gary, I love this stuff. I can't tell you almost how refreshing it is to have a wise ass like you talk about digital marketing initiatives because, the idea of being tough with certain people, it's like, I like the question, can you take my advice even though you may disagree with it? You say, this is going to hurt. I'm going to rip apart your current strategy and tell you what you need to fix before we actually get started. So we're not building on a foundation made of sand. A lot of times I ask that question in the form of, Mr. Prospect, do I have permission to scorch the earth that you walk on? Which looks a little bit like your picture here in the background. Which, as you now know, I like movies, TV, and music a great deal. So I like to drop little movie quotes and pictures for sure on my show and things like that. But I love to get some of your messaging across the way that you do it. I saw this one out there too. Everyone will love this. Like, you mean to tell me you're not using pay-per-click? It's great.
Listen, sometimes you got to be real, right?
Yeah, sometimes it's like you don't. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Mike Tyson said that. But this is the message part of the show. Speaking about bringing things home, right? The whole idea with Always Friday, when I started doing this during the pandemic, September of 2020, we wanted to give people some weekend insight to make a Monday impact. We are going to have some l'chaim after this. We're going to have some cocktails. Well, maybe a schwitz at the Vanya. Who knows? You get into the weekend activities. Everybody's going to have their cocktails, watch their sports, and take their kids all over the place if it's anything like you and me. But we want people to remember something on Monday morning from these pearls of wisdom that you have to share. So we want your sound bites that will really get people engaged, as we've talked about many times on this discussion thus far. This is one of those things, Gary, and I know you've seen it all the time, where you talk about custom tailored digital marketing campaigns and solutions where it's on everybody's to-do list. And if it's not, I don't know what planet they're on, but like everybody's either kind of wanted to start this, half-ass started it, completely started it with the wrong partners. Again, if they consider them service vendors, that's a problem right from the beginning. But I see you as somebody who's very well positioned to step in, whether it is a business that's first starting or it's one that's been around for a while and really needs to work on growing and maintaining the digital footprint. But give us some sound bites to leave with everybody over the weekend, in case this is the only part of the show they end up hearing.
So for me, it's all about educating yourself, because the entire environment, marketing environment, financial environment keeps constantly changing. So if you're not educating yourself with the current events, current strategies, you're going to be in the gutter. Again, the reason why I come off as a consultant and an authority in my field is because I spend about 2-3 hours every week learning new strategies, learning what's going on in the field. And again, once you have that education, you have that information, and you have that implementation, you can go to any networking group, you can go to any chat, you can go any online group and provide your points of wisdom and help people how to resolve any issue they have in a specific field. And pretty much once you position yourself as that figure, people are actually going to come to you. So education is crucial. One thing that I learned when, again, I deal with a lot of clients, like multi-million dollar national corporation. And one thing that I know for a fact is nobody knows anything. So I can
Don't sugarcoat it, Gary.
No, I can literally go in the meeting. I had a meeting with ATP, and I had their entire Indian team. They basically built out their entire infrastructure. And I was literally wearing my Adidas jumpsuit, like I always do, my little beanie. I don't wear suits. I hate suits. That's why I opened my company. Mm-hmm. And I literally go into the meeting and I ask them specific questions about their strategy, about their product. And I rip them apart because I educate myself. As a CEO of a company, yes, I have my employees, I have my analysts. If my analyst comes to me and I don't have an answer for him, I failed him as my CEO. So you must educate yourself. It's crucial in order for you, to sustain your clients, to grow your business, and be that authority figure. So educate yourself. And YouTube provides you with a lot of free tools that you can just log in any moment, type it up, find the answer, easy peasy.
Back to the egotistical discussion. Like, I learn something new every day. There's a lot of crap that I know, and there's a lot of crap that I've done. I learn something new every day. It's like, you're a jiu-jitsu guy, right? Like, you still train all the time, don't you?
6 days a week.
Yeah. Okay. So, martial artists are sometimes really good at getting this point across. It's like, you can't be a know-it-all with these things. Just because you have a belt that kind of signifies to people, yeah, I've reached the top level, so I know everything type of thing. It's like, people like Gary train 6 out of 7 days a week. So it's just a condition
I-
yourself.
I'm 45 years old. I have bad knees, bad shoulders, bad neck, bad back.
Yeah, we all got problems.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm perfectly healthy. When I roll with an 18-year-old wrestler that's still at the peak of his testosterone over 200, like foaming at the mouth, if I don't train, if I don't put myself in bad positions, I'm gonna be destroyed. So even with all these injuries, all these limitations, I'm still able to maneuver, control, submit, and educate and teach the person. My biggest thing is when my students are better than me, that means I'm happy. That means I got to push myself to be better than them. Otherwise, I'm not their teacher anymore. So you have to use that methodology in everyday work as well.
You know, I didn't think of this until just now, and I've talked a lot about it over the last couple of years. So thank you for sparking some of my gray matter this early in the day. But my father's a retired teacher. My mother-in-law is a retired teacher. I never wanted to be a teacher the whole time growing up. But at the older I get and the more traveled and experienced I get and the more wisdom I accumulate, I'm working with people in an educative kind of capacity anyway, right? But when you really think about it, calling yourself a teacher versus like an educator, really, like sharing your knowledge is being somebody who's an educator. Sometimes the teacher kind of stigma comes with somebody up on a soapbox pointing and lecturing and possibly depending how vintage the crowd is, possibly beating you with a yardstick or a ruler. So just being able to share knowledge. People do business with other people who they like, they trust, and who they think know what they're talking about. That's it.
Exactly. And again, even like a teacher example, how fast does the information change? I still have a textbook when I was in high school, and that information is like useless. You can't even apply it. So that's why teachers need to be educators, and educators grow themselves to be better individuals. So
very much a mindset thing of continuous improvement and learning a new lesson every day. Gary, I thank you so much for joining me here once again. I know we've kicked around ideas of hanging out on the air together. I'm thrilled to death that we finally made it happen. And I'm even more thrilled that you're one of the closer people to my residence and my base of operation. So there's a chance we could actually share some cocktails later today before the weekend gets nuts.
my door's always open.